everyone, Ben here, and today we're going to compare the Galil, whether it's the original 1.0 or 2.0, you take your pick, against the VZ58. The VZ58 has been kind of a bucket list gun for me for a while. There's a lot I like about the VZ58, and we'll get into more of that as this video progresses. But we're going to compare those two today. There's some, if you're new to the channel, there's some finer points that I usually like to compare. We're going to hit those, and then there's some other stuff that's important to me, but maybe not as important to you, so just disregard them if it doesn't matter to you. But the main points that I'm going to cover today are, I think, what everyone looks at when they're trying to make a decision between two guns. For those people that are new to the firearm game, they'll look at the VZ58 and think, man, that's an AK. When all of us really know that is not an AK, that is the Czech version of the AK. The Czechs and the Russians don't get along, for those of you that don't know. And the VZ58 was kind of a middle finger to Moscow. So VZ58 looks similar to an AK, but they actually share no parts. And there's no commonality between the two. Maybe the thread pitch and the sights you could probably make a case for, but other than that, there's no commonality in parts. The magazines are even different. So I can't take AK mags and stick them in a VZ58. Before we get started into some of the categories, please go over to wisemancompany.com. That's the best way to support us. We have a ton of great gear over there. A lot of the gear that you're going to see in this video, like the Hot Pockets, the slings, some of the accessories that you'll see on chest rigs, things like that, they're all available over at wisemancompany.com. A lot of great nylon gear over there made by Lunar Concepts. And again, that's the best way to support us. Remember, the whole purpose of this video is to see which gun you guys like. So don't forget to jump down in the comments, state which one you think is better and why. I want to hear from you guys, and of course talk amongst yourselves. That is the best part of these videos, is the conversation and the thoughts generated from the video. First, let's start with size. All right, both these guns unloaded, stripped down, no optic, no mag, are going to come in around 6 pounds. The VZ58 I have is a 12.5-inch barrel. The Galil 1.0, 2.0 is an 8-inch barrel. So about the same weight, a little bit longer barrel though with the VZ58. And I should say that the VZ58 comes in a number of flavors, just like the Galil, different barrel lengths, different calibers. The ones we're looking at today are both 7.62 by 39. So weight-wise, very comparable, although the VZ58 is a little bit lighter for what you're getting. Again, longer barrel, but still the same weight as the 8-inch Galil. When we're talking about size, both of these are folders. I have tail hooks on the end of these. They can fold to the left-hand side, and they're nice, tight, small little packages. You can throw them in a bag, throw them on a car seat. I like folders, again, because you can cut down the size if you need to store it or hide it. And both of these are folders because they're piston guns. There's no buffer tube needed, although the VZ58 I got did come with an AR-15 buffer tube, but it's just not needed. The VZ58 is a short stroke gas piston. The Galil is a long stroke gas piston. So both can fold. Two different systems though, very similar, not the same in any way. Next on the list is performance, and this is the biggest category for everyone, because if the gun doesn't work or doesn't put bullets where you want them to go, what's really the point? So, performance. Let's start with the VZ58. It's a striker-fired gun. I know that sounds weird, but there's no hammer. It's a striker-fired rifle. The VZ58 is a gun that is very accurate for what it is. Again, most people, when they're shooting 7.62 by 39, they're going to shoot military surplus ammo, steel case ammo. Ammo's half the battle when we're talking about accuracy. The VZ58, in my experience, did outshoot the Galil as far as accuracy goes. If we're talking about groups. That being said, the Galil is not inaccurate in any way. So accuracy across the board there. Both guns are good. I'm going to give the edge to the VZ58 on accuracy. When we're talking about performance, we have to talk about the controls. How are you going to manipulate safeties, charging handles? Is the gun balanced well? The Galil is in the AK family, so it's going to have controls that are very similar to your AK. Although I think the controls on the Galil are better than most AK type variants. You're going to get an ambidextrous safety on the Galil. You're going to get a charging handle that is on the left-hand side, which is great for right-handed shooters. Magazine release is ambi. It's still underneath, like an AK, but it is ambi because it's underneath. Controls on the Galil, really, really nice. And again, I would say they're better than your standard AK type rifle. VZ58 controls, a little wonky, but there is some hope there. VZ58 controls stock, not that great. I did add upgraded controls on this version. You'll see here, added an ambi mag release and a bolt catch and release. So with the VZ58, last round hold open is an option where you're not going to get that with the Galil. A lot of people want that last round hold open, and we're not just going to use like the last round hold open mags. It actually bolt locks the rear. You can do a mag change and drop the bolt with the bolt release that I added. Those parts I got from VZ58 USA. They had a little bit of trouble installing them. You had to fit them a little bit, the mag release or the bolt catch in particular, but they're welcomed upgrades. It makes it a very modern system to control and operate. Safety, on the other hand, is not that great. The safety is a little switch that you'll see here. It's easy to take off, a little bit difficult to put on. With the VZ58, the pistol grip that you have is pretty much the one you're going to be stuck with. There's not a lot of aftermarket support for the VZ58, and the grip, the pistol grip, is one area that is lacking. The grip that comes with it isn't terrible. It's really not bad at all. I would love just to be able to slap in any AR-15 grip that I would prefer onto the VZ58, but that's not an option. With the Galil, there's some K&S precision parts on there where it allows me to put an AR-15 grip on it, and it feels very common to me. It's a very nice grip. It's the grip I would want to use, and I would use on all my AR-15s, and I can add that to the Galil. So both grips, stock, not the best, but doable. It's just that the Galil has a little bit more aftermarket support when we're talking about the pistol grip and the comfort in your hand. Iron sights on both these guns, the Galil and the VZ58, are just kind of, yeah, they're not that great. VZ58 kind of having standard AK style iron sights, which are a little difficult to use, not unusable, of course. The Galil's sights, if you've seen previous videos of mine on the Galil, they're a little big, like the front sight's a little big, so making precision shots a little further out, a little bit more difficult. I mounted red dots to both of these. If we're talking about the 2.0 Galil, obviously that comes slick, so you can add whatever you want in there. If you want to add iron sights, you can put whatever you want on there. The VZ58, I added a little dust cover to the back that has pick rail on it, so I can add a dot. This part wasn't that great of an addition. It involves some fitting, and the actual way it attaches just wasn't really thought out well. The feet are kind of a little weird. You can't tighten it down too tight or else it impedes the function, and too loose, the screws come undone. So I kind of have a fix there. I fixed it, fitted it to the gun. Not a great addition, but it does allow you to add a red dot. Quick overview on performance. Both guns are accurate, reliable, no issues on reliability. They chuck brass out of the gun. I mean, they hurl it. Didn't have any issues. VZ58 mags, very reliable, expensive but reliable. AK-47 mags, abundant, also reliable if you buy right. So performance-wise, across the board, they are very, very comparable. I'm going to give the edge to the VZ58 because it does have that last round hold open. The controls on it are a little bit more intuitive, a little bit easier to use. But that's a close one when we're talking about performance between the two. It's really, really close. I like the VZ58 a little bit more when we're talking about performance. Aftermarket support is another big one for me. And it's not as important as performance, but let's be honest. A lot of the guns we buy, we don't just leave stock. We're not going to do that. We want to increase the performance of them, increase the ergonomics, the functionality. We want aftermarket support. The Galil has a lot of great aftermarket support. A lot. K&S Precision, Midwest Industries, RS Regulate. There's a lot of great companies making cool parts for the Galil, and rightfully so. It's a popular platform. IWI made a great gun with the Galil, and a lot of other companies out there want to support that. People are buying Galils. Makes sense, right? VZ58, there's not that many around. It took me a little bit to find this VZ58. I went on Gunbroker. There's not a ton of people making aftermarket parts for it. There are some, but there's not as many as I would say for the Galil. So VZ58, I mentioned VZ58 USA. They're making parts. Apex Gunworks. There's a number of other ones out there. You just gotta hunt a little bit more for aftermarket parts, and they can be expensive depending on where you go. Magazines we touched on a little bit. Everybody wants more magazines to support the gun they bought. AK-47 mags all over the place. They're everywhere, and they're generally pretty reliable. VZ58 mags, they're big, clunky, they're reliable. Brand new ones are going to run around 50 bucks. Used ones you can get around for 15 to 20 bucks, which isn't bad, but it's clearly not as easy to acquire or purchase VZ58 mags as it is just plain old AK-47 mags. So aftermarket support definitely goes to the Galil. A lot of cool parts out there. It would be nice to see some more companies pick up little niche parts for the VZ58 because I do like it. Time will tell on that though. Last category is price point. Now these are very similarly priced. Back in the day though, VZ58 you could get pretty inexpensively, like sub 1,000 bucks. You are going to pay anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 depending on what version of the VZ58 you get right now. I paid $1,400 for mine, I believe. Galils are going to run anywhere from $1,500 to $1,600 depending on where you get it or what version you get. So very comparable on price. Galil's a little bit easier to find stateside than the Czech VZ58. So price, very similar, and I think that price point that is out there on these guns is correct. You're going to get your money's worth if you pick either of these platforms. All right, guys, let me know down below which one you're going to choose, Czech VZ58 or Galil, either 1.0 or 2.0, and why. This should generate some pretty good conversation. I kind of posed a similar question on Instagram a little while ago, and it definitely, the comments were pretty funny and pretty cool. So again, this is all about conversation between one another. I want to hear from you. You guys are smart folks. Let's talk about it. Which one are you choosing? The placards that you saw today were made by Parachuter Gear, and they're AK-47 placards. They do fit the VZ58 mags. The Tiger Stripe placard that you saw today and the DNC placard, again, made by Parachuter Gear. Good quality. I didn't have many AK-47 nylon accessories. Was talking to him a little bit and he said, hey, let me send you some stuff, and he did that. So thank you, really appreciate it. Go support him. If you need some AK-47 placards, rigs, they do some other stuff as well. So Parachuter Gear. Guys, thank you for watching. Always appreciate you guys watching these videos and talking with me. Go to wisemancompany.com. That's the best way to support us. A lot of great gear over there for you guys to pick up. My name is Ben. We'll see you on the next video.